Hey everyone, this week on Expert in You podcast, I interview a true expert, Kimberly Lebbing. Kim is a mindset coach, and she is going to be sharing her journey, how she got into her coaching business, but then we're going to talk about having the right mindset for success and how relationships and the things that go on in your life also affect your business. You are going to gain so much value from this podcast. Also, we're going to be talking about Kim's journey building her coaching business, so you're going to gain new strategies and insights as well. So I hope you'll join us. Make sure you hit the subscribe and the notification bell right now so that you don't miss a single episode of Expert in You. We'll see you soon. I love when coaches, consultants, and professional service providers want to do big things in their business. They want to rise to the top and influence their market and the world around them. They want to have a greater impact and make a more lucrative income. Well, if this is you, welcome to Expert in You podcast, the show where I interview other experts and coaches, consultants, so that they can share their success strategies with you. We're going to talk about marketing and how to close more sales, how to get more premium clients, and how to really build your visibility in the market and scale your business like a boss. If this is you, welcome to the show. I want to ask you to subscribe and hit the notification bell right now so you don't miss one episode. Grab your coffee and buckle up because we are ready to give it all to you to help you become the expert and get paid as the expert that you are. I want to welcome you all back to my show again this week. I am super excited about my guest, Kim Lebbing. She is phenomenal in her expertise and in her business, and I can't wait for her to share the great value that she has for you. And I know this is going to be a game changer for you, and it will change your thinking. It will change how you look at your business. She is just amazing. She is doing some amazing things. We're going to talk about that. But Kim is a mindset coach, but she is not just a mindset coach. She is a true expert that is doing some really cool things to help people get really fast breakthroughs and results in literally under 4 hours. So, Kim, I am so excited to have you here. Welcome to Expert in You podcast.
Thank you so much, Anne, for having me on today. I am really excited to be here and to see where this goes.
And you look so beautiful in your red. I just have to point that out. I know if people are listening instead of watching, they are not going to see that you're in this beautiful red color that just makes your eyes sparkle and makes you shine. But she really is shining out there in the online world, in the business world, and I'm just honored to have her on. So, Kim, we are going to dive in. The first thing I want to talk about is really kind of your journey. I know you have just an incredible backstory, how you got into what you're doing right now. And I really want you to share that with the audience because I know that will inspire them. And then we'll talk more about what you do and how people can apply what you do to their business and to their life. So why don't you just give us some backstory?
Sure. So I started on the mindset journey as a young adult, and it is because of my background and my upbringing. So when I was born into a home with really young parents. They didn't know what they didn't know, but there was a lot of verbal abuse and putting me down, and it literally affected every aspect of my life. It affected my health, my relationships, and later in my business. I've always been an entrepreneur at heart, and I really struggled for years in trying to overcome these things. So, of course, like any good entrepreneur would do, I went to tons and tons of seminars, read lots of books, and these are things you should all do. However, it felt like I describe it this way all the time. It felt like a Band-Aid. It wasn't really getting to the core issue. And it really wasn't until I discovered this process that I do now that I was able to fix it and move on and shift things quickly. So I'm really passionate about helping people with the mindset piece because I know it can just stop you in your tracks. And keep you from moving forward.
No, I love that. And I that's how most of us get into this business, right? We take what the struggle or the challenges that we've been through, the things that we've learned from those, and then we realize, wow, this is an opportunity to help other people and really, help them improve their life or improve their business. So I love that you're doing this, and I love that you've packaged it up into what you call 4-hour rapid results, which is very cool, because there are a lot of people out there doing mindset, but they're doing much longer programs. I'm sometimes, seeing that people need to be with them for a very long time to get a breakthrough. And you have really figured out the secret sauce to getting people very, very quick results. Let's talk about some of the things that you help people with. What are some of those breakthroughs that you help people get? And by the way, anytime you are stuck in your business, you have to, like she said, a lot of times people go looking for the Band-Aid, but there's often a much deeper issue there. I find this even when I go in and work with businesses, they say, oh, I want more clients, but it's deeper than that, right? It's not just about getting more clients. I have to look at a lot of things to see why they're not getting more clients. And so it's the very same thing, is you really have to do that analysis and figure out what is that root problem. So what are some of the things that you help people overcome? And then I would love to hear how that changes when you get that breakthrough with them. How does that actually change their business or their life? I would love to hear that.
Sure. So I have people come to me for different things. I see people both for business reasons. They want to grow their business, they want to scale. And then I also see people on the relationship side. Maybe they're struggling with a relationship, or they've gone through a divorce, and it's affecting their ability to do their business that they already have. So both sides, people on the business side, I see people that are maybe struggling with being inconsistent, or sometimes procrastination or scaling. Mm-hmm. And then on the relationship side, it just depends. But I do see a lot of people that have gone through divorces or some kind of thing that is stopping them mm-hmm. from doing their business, because that's really all they can see at the moment. They're just kind of stuck in that drama, per se, of whatever, happened or had gone on. Mm-hmm. So when they come to me, a lot of times it's, they come to me with a problem, like I'm inconsistent, or I want to scale and I'm stuck and I don't know why. And a lot of times the problem is much deeper, is what we discover is, maybe it's related to a fear. Maybe it's related to trust. Trust comes up a lot. Mm-hmm. And, you can't really grow your business if you can't trust. I mean, that's a huge, huge one. So a lot of times there's a much deeper level mm-hmm. of a problem than what they initially think. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. And actually, I want to dive into the trust thing a little bit, because you said you can't really grow your business if you struggle with trust. Let's talk about some of the ways. Let's go deeper and let's talk about some of the ways that trust can stop you in your tracks. I know for a fact that it can stop business owners, coaches, consultants in their tracks, because they don't want to let go of anything in their business. They don't want to hand over the reins for anything. And so they still try to do everything themselves, or they think no one can do it as good as they can. And that is really a lack of trust. If you really look at it, it's number one, a lack of trust in yourself that you can train people to do what you need them to do. But it's also a lack of trust in other people to be able to hand over some of those things. What are some ways that you see trust show up?
Yeah, well, you hit the nail on the head, totally. And it reminded me of somebody that I worked with that had that exact issue. She wanted to scale her business and she didn't trust. Mm-hmm. And the trust went back to something that happened to her a long time ago. Mm-hmm. And it was totally understandable why she didn't. But it also went another step was she didn't trust herself. Right. So I see this if someone makes a bad decision, mm-hmm. or we'll call it a learning. Right. However you want to
fail forward. Always fail forward. That's right.
Yes. But But if there's a decision that was made that maybe caused some pain, then they don't trust themselves to even make decisions and move forward. So there's another aspect to that besides, you need to trust, be able to hire employees, all the things that you said were totally spot on. But there can be an even deeper level with if you don't trust yourself to make the decisions to move forward. And that can totally stop people in their tracks, especially because a lot of times they aren't even aware of what caused it or that it's even really going on. So I usually get a surface level kind of problem. Like,
it's always surface level.
Yes,
always.
Yeah.
Right. They
I
don't
have
know.
a fear of success. That's what's holding me back. And I'm like, that's probably a little bit.
I don't I've never really understood that language, to be quite honest. But no, you bring up a really great point. And the other thing that could actually happen is, let's say you've in business in the past, maybe you haven't made a good decision. Maybe it's affected your family or your spouse or someone financially, not just you and not just your business, but now it's affected other people. All of a sudden, you've got this lack of trust coming from other people, which can be projected. And it can also create, now that when you were talking about a lack of trust in yourself, sometimes outside situations can cause, oh gosh, maybe I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe I don't really know how to make decisions. Instead of trusting, I made a mistake. I learned from it. I'm not going to do that again. I'm going to move forward. Do you see some of those things as well?
Totally. And I just talked to someone last week, actually, that had this going on, and he was making decisions based on, like, there was a bad business decision made like years and years and years ago, but really kind of people pleasing. So not because of the relationship with his family and not wanting to make those mistakes again. So really hesitant to move forward. So there was all kinds of different things going on there, but hesitant to move forward and make decisions because of what the wife might think. And it was all based in fear from this other event. So she may not even be affected by it anymore. Who knows? But there's still that hesitancy, and it ultimately stops them in their tracks from moving forward and creating a bigger business.
Yeah, I love it. You and I have had multiple conversations about mindset and strategy. I do the strategic part, you do the mindset part, right? And how, let's talk about that just a little bit, because I think it's important for people to really be able to identify what is their real problem. Now, granted, it still may be surface level, and someone says I have cash flow issues because they think it's one reason, but really there are usually multiple reasons why they have, cash flow issues, or I'm not getting clients, those kinds of things. So let's talk about the difference between mindset and strategy. I always say, if you know what you should be doing and you are doing the work, but it is not working, that's a strategy problem. You've got something probably broken there in your strategic approach. From the mindset piece, how would you define that?
It's a mindset piece if you know what to do, but you're not doing it. You're not taking the actions, or maybe you're not doing it to the degree that you want to be doing it. So that's described it perfect. And I think we've all been stuck on that with which thing is it? And I also think people get it mixed up. And if they have a mindset problem, they keep, and I know this because of my own experience, they have a mindset problem, but then they go out and they keep buying more programs and more strategy type things.
Right.
And all along it was mindset, or vice versa.
Right. It happens in both. Either. Yes, it absolutely happens in both directions. Now, I will say, and I know you and I kind of talked about this a little bit before we started this podcast, but I will say in startups, you have usually a very different mindset than you have in people that are really high achievers. They're looking to have greater success. I would love for you, if you can, kind of maybe talk about the differences. What do you see with someone who's maybe just beginning mindset issues? The reason I'm saying that is because now I know you work with people who are really trying to achieve success, but you did not start out that way in your business, and you were getting a lot of the sort of people that were at the beginning stages of mindset. So can you dive into this just a little bit? I think this would be a great
yeah. So the beginning stages of the mindset. I think with business owners, there's a huge shift between being an employee and being an entrepreneur. And a lot of people, and I know you know this and teach this, but mindset wise, they haven't made that shift. So they go out and they start a new business, and then all they do is they end up creating another job for themselves. Mm-hmm. And so they really haven't shifted into that mindset of being an entrepreneur and really owning whatever it is that they're doing. So I think the mind shift part is huge there. Mm-hmm. And I've helped people with that. So like you said in the beginning, I was working with clients that were newer, and some going from, moving from an employee type job into being an entrepreneur. And it's a tough shift. It's a really tough shift, because you have all this time. And with some of them, I mean, if this was like years ago, we even talked about almost creating for them to be more disciplined with their time, almost creating a job like schedule so that they could, do the things that they needed to get done. But it's such a huge difference. So working with people that are more already there, like they're already established and they have these businesses growing and they're wanting to get to next levels, they already get these things. Right. So they're not struggling with, self-doubt and some of those limiting beliefs and all of those kinds of things. They're ready to really scale up and move on.
So how does mindset come into that then? When you're talking about a high achiever, someone who really wants more, they're working to achieve more, where do you see mindset issues come in there? Probably fear can be one.
Definitely.
Am I making, because one of the things I teach is, the higher you go on the ladder, the harder the fall, right?
Yes.
And so that can be scary for people. If I make all of this money, then I have to keep and then I have to keep that going. So there can be fear there.
There definitely can be fear. And another aspect of this that I see is the relationship piece.
Oh, because I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, because when they're successful and they're driven and all those things, like family and relationships might get pushed back a little bit. And then they end up having some problems. And that's where I see some people that have gone through divorces or had these other things. And it's really correcting or shifting their minds through those relationship pieces, because it stops them. It affects their businesses whenever they are affected by these other negative things. And really just diving in deeper and finding out with them, like how they were brought up. So how those relationship things are affecting the choices that they're making now, and then how it affects their business that's profound. And that's with the next level piece. That's a lot of what I see is people that are struggling with personal relationships, and that is stopping them from moving even higher.
Well, and even learning how to navigate that. So someone like you can help them navigate those relationships as their business is expanding and growing. Kim and I really complement each other as far as what we do, because I mindset comes in a little bit, of course, but I am not, I do not have the experience or the education or the knowledge that she has around this. And it takes both things. It really does. And so they have to have the right strategies and things like that in place. But if other outside forces are kind of coming in and stopping them in their tracks, there's no amount of strategy that's going to keep moving them forward until they can learn to navigate, okay, how do I make all of this work together? And that's where you really work with people to help them understand the relationships. And, sometimes, let's face it, as you move into a into a different level, whether that be in life or in business, sometimes things also have to go. And not talking about, your marriage and things like that. I'm just saying, sometimes you have to change your circle of friends. You have to change your circle of influence. Sometimes people are threatened by all of that. All of those things cause the problems in the relationship. That also causes problems in the business, because you and I have had this conversation. You can't separate the two. As much as you might want to, you can't. It's virtually impossible to separate the two. Do you agree with that?
Oh, I totally agree with that. People try to, they think they can, but they really can't. And when you fix one area, it affects the other.
Yes.
I mean, I see that over and over again. And because a lot of people do come to me about relationship problems, and then they're able to scale, or a lot of times when they come to me about, okay, I want to scale my business, we find out that it's really a relationship issue.
Right.
That is causing them, that's stopping them in their tracks. So it's really interesting the way it all works together.
No, I love this conversation. I think it's so important for people to really see the differences. And I always say, when your business gets bigger, you have bigger problems, you have new problems, maybe not bigger, but you have new problems, right? And so it's important that you're always in the right frame of mind if you're going to continue to move forward and do it in a way that you still love your business and love your life. I mean, anyone can push and grind and, achieve whatever they want, but we're talking about really doing it in a way that it flows. There's more flow, there's happiness, right? You can make a lot of money, but if you're not happy along the way, what is the point of that? So what we're talking about is the mindset merged with the strategy can be unstoppable. Do you agree with that?
Totally agree with that. And it is a gradual process, because like you said, as you're moving forward, there's new problems that pop up.
Yes.
And it's just new levels of thinking. So if you haven't been there before, you wouldn't know how to navigate it.
Yes, exactly. You have to level up. I always say you have to level up your thinking before your business can level up. You can't get something new with old thinking. You just can't. It's impossible. So I love this. So Kim, what would be a couple of points or takeaways that you could give people that might help them either identify that they may have a mindset issue, or maybe some tips to move them forward if they do think that they're stuck with their mindset? Besides, obviously you can get a hold of Kim and she can give you that quick breakthrough, but let's give them some takeaways.
Yeah, absolutely. So my first thing that I tell people to do is really identify what the real problem is and whatever it is. So like we said, there's a surface level thing that people think they're stuck in. Well, ask yourself better questions. Ask yourself, like, so why am I doing this behavior? What is it tied to? Like, how is it a problem is one of the questions that I ask my clients. So if it's inconsistency or I think I have a fear of success. Well, how is that a problem? And keep drilling down until you can get to what that core problem is, because you can't solve a problem that you're not aware of. Mm-hmm. And if we're always thinking in this like conscious level thing, I think of that visual of the iceberg. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes. Oh, that's such a great visual.
90% is under here, because the problems people think they have are like
they're up here,
the iceberg. They're they're on top of the water, and then everything else is below. Yeah, and it's not until you get to those below the surface things that you can really move forward. Right.
Just like in business, it's exactly the same. There's always something deeper. There's always, a bigger reason. No, I love that you use the iceberg. I think that is a great visual for people to be able to see that. So basically they're asking why. So why is that a problem? Maybe why is that affecting my business? Where is that showing up? What is that doing? So let's just say procrastination, for example. I'm procrastinating in my business. How you would ask me, how is that really affecting things? Well, I'm not
getting done the things that I know I need to get done. And you would just keep digging into that. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's totally correct. How is that a problem? And keep, like, you keep drilling down until you get to the core problem.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, once you're able to bring that to the surface, so you're bringing the bottom of the iceberg up to the top, essentially, then you're able to really deal with it and tackle it and find out the why behind it and what you can do to change it.
Give us an example of someone you've worked with that it was a really significant client or a really significant shift. And what did that do?
Oh gosh.
I know you have many, but just.
Yeah, I do. I think, okay. So a business owner that I worked with, and this has been a while back, year and a half or so ago, that had a problem with consistency, had more than one business. And he said he was consistently inconsistent. That was his problem. Well, as we drilled down to get to the why he was inconsistent, it turned out it was something relationship related, and it was something specific that had happened like 20 years ago. And the interesting thing in his case was that he had gone through counseling and thought he had fixed it. And so it was huge for him because he didn't think it was a problem anymore because he had gone through all this counseling. I have nothing against counseling. I think it's got value. And
I want to stop you for a minute though, because what you do, because I know about what you do, and I also work with counselors, so I know what they do. One of the things that's very, very different, I think everything has its place, right? And I know counseling has its place. But the big difference in counseling and in what you do is you actually get to the root of the problem and fix it versus giving them coping mechanisms. Would that be fair to say?
That is 100%. I mean, we literally like create new neural pathways. Ooh, it's like a computer that's been, has a virus, and we remove the virus and we upload a new program. I mean, that's the simplistic.
No, I love that. That is a great way for people to look at it. And I think that is an important thing for people to understand. So you fix the problem so that it doesn't show back up again in their life or in their business. I mean, that's incredibly powerful. Why isn't counseling doing
I don't know. I mean, I did counseling.
I wondered that for a long time now, actually.
Yeah, I did counseling for years, but it is a difference in, I'm more interested in the how and what you're doing and why you're doing it, like connecting the dots. And they're more interested in tell me the backstory and it's just a totally different thing.
Yeah, so interesting. Mindset, we could talk all day on mindset, but I want to dive a little bit into your business too, because you've been coaching for a lot of years and helping people for a lot of years, but you recently kind of made some shifts in your business too. And tell someone who is maybe a startup coach, most of the people that are probably listening to this are not startups, but where have you seen the biggest shift for you in both your mindset and in your business? What are some things that you've done that have made, helped you reach that next level, so to speak?
Well, working with you has been like number one.
Well, I wasn't going to bring up that you are a client,
but I will say that.
And okay, so we know that we are coaches, right? So we know working with a coach is always going to help and be a game changer. Thank you for that shout out. I appreciate it. But what have been some of the, just in your own mind and, your actions and your thoughts and maybe you can kind of talk about that a little
Oh,
bit.
absolutely. Really shifting my mind to think bigger than what I was. That was probably the biggest thing, and really being able to see what's possible. Because I wasn't sure that I was there before. I was just kind of in this space of I was doing okay, but not great.
Why do you think you weren't thinking bigger? I know you told me your goal when we first talked before you became a client. And I said, oh, okay, that's a good start. And I'm just curious what you thought at that moment when I said that. But why do you think you weren't thinking bigger? Because I think this is a really important thing for people to.
Yeah, I personally, I think I didn't see that it was possible for me. I knew that other people were doing these bigger things, but I didn't see it in my own business. And I didn't, and probably most importantly, and this is something that you really massively helped me with, is I didn't see the value in what I was delivering to people because they're getting huge value. And that's been the biggest. I mean, I have a client that's on his way to make over $1 million. And I mean, it's with a business that he didn't even have.
Yeah.
So really bringing in the value and recognizing that I am really giving people a huge value, and the shift with them is just with everyone, it's been really, really profound.
And the other thing, so you brought up a point, you said, I didn't see it being possible. And that really was because of the way you had your business structured. That was a strategy, right? There was a strategic reason why you didn't see how people were doing all these really big things and all of that. So once you saw, oh my goodness, this is totally possible. What made you think, okay, I want more? Because you could have just said, well, great, I'll just get it easier. I'll reach my goal easier.
I actually saw how easy it was, to be honest. I'm like, well, this isn't a big deal. As hard as I thought it was going to be. So, I mean, I think just seeing that it was really simple and it was just doing more of the right strategies was what was going to push me to that next level. So, I mean, you helped me tremendously with that. Just that thinking bigger.
See, she really did have the right mindset. I just want you to know she was already doing the work. She had the right mindset. When she came to me, it was just that she just wasn't reaching the goals that she had. And she felt, did you feel in your gut? I just want to know, did you feel in your gut that there should be more, that you should?
Oh, totally. But I knew
I should be doing more.
Yeah. Oh, totally. But I also knew that I could only take in so many clients. So I think that's where I didn't see the possibility, because I know I can only have so much time. And that's that strategy piece that you helped me with was a huge key in saying, oh, well, it is possible if you do it this way.
Right. Have there been some other mindset shifts besides, okay, now I know that I can accomplish so much more? I mean, we've laughed when we changed your goal, right? We said, yes, it's a lot more than it was at the very beginning, for sure.
Totally.
But what are some other mindset shifts that you've maybe kind of seen along the way? Have there been some other things that come to your mind at all?
There have been, just with managing my time and how to structure everything.
And she homeschools her kids. I just want to throw that in. She also is a homeschool, she's a homeschool mom, and she's running this incredible business around all of that. So I did want to just give you kudos that people don't realize what's possible when they're doing the wrong things. Right.
Totally. And that's why I just saw this cap, because I knew if I kept doing more, I knew I couldn't do all the things. So strategy was so huge for me. But other mindset shifts that I made, I think with my schedule, because I homeschool, there's a shift. What I was doing in the summer is a little bit different than what I'm doing now.
New problems that we talked about, new problems, right?
Yeah, totally. And a lot of mine had to do with managing time, to be honest, because even with the networking, I know we had a lot of conversations about that and which ones were sucking up my time and which ones were profitable, all those kinds of things, and really evaluating those things and stepping back from the things that weren't really serving me, to be honest.
And you have to keep evaluating those things. That's the one thing. This is another area where people don't really realize is they're leveling up their business. What maybe worked in the beginning may not keep working. I know you and I even had that conversation. As you're stepping things up, as you're charging bigger fees, as you might have to change, some of the things that you were doing, and you need new strategies to go into that next level. I see people trying to achieve more with startup strategies that doesn't often get them, to that next place, because they're not doing the right things. They might still be doing the same things, but they're not the right things to reach that next stage in your business. I know we talked about that, and you did cut away a few things.
Oh, I totally did. Yeah, I cut out a couple of things, and I'm still evaluating. Some of the things that I'm going to, and just figuring out which things are going to be the things, because your time is your time is more valuable than anything else in my eyes. So that's, whatever I can do to make that time work for me better is.
And you want a life. You still want to have this incredible life and this life of freedom. You don't really work on the weekends. I know you don't do that. And you are homeschooling. So ultimately you're kind of building your business, working part-time, you could probably say. Let me just ask you too, when the mindset piece, you brought up a really good point. You said, I'm always evaluating. I'm still evaluating. Is that different for you? Was that anything that you were doing before?
Yeah, because I think my evaluating before, I maybe have been a little bit stuck with the evaluating. And now I'm looking, I think I just have come to a place where I evaluate differently. I ask, instead of why didn't I do this? And this is a mindset tip, by the way. So instead of asking why, ask yourself how or what can I do instead? Because why directs your thoughts on the negative, where how or what directs your thoughts on the solution. So when I evaluate whatever I'm doing, I ask myself, what can I do instead? Or how can I make this work? Those good questions to steer myself in the right direction. So
stop focusing on the problem, focus on the solution.
Yes.
I can't tell you how many thousands of times I've used that one with my clients for many, many years. I think this is really great. I think for people to really see, as you're building a business, what does it take? What shifts do have to happen, both in strategy and in mindset. And we're really talking about mindset today, but does it ever change? So do you ever quit using the mindset tactics and things that or do you sharpen your skills?
I always
sharpen your own mind.
I definitely do. I mean, I'm in another training. I mean, even now as we speak, that's going on throughout this year. So I'm always sharpening my skills because, well, one, for myself, but I want to make sure that I'm getting my clients the best possible, quickest results that they can have. And I feel like I've done that, but I'm always looking. So I think I shared this with you. I took a course back in August just to see if their strategy and what they do is, if they had anything that I could improve. And I walked away from it and went, no, actually,
I remember you.
What I'm doing is working better. So it's always good to ask questions, though.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't mean that something that you learned there can't come into play later on. So we never know where that knowledge and that all of that great information and all of that training and everything that we've got, it's kind of like I say when I started working online and I hired a coach to help me with my online marketing and all of that kind of thing. I got so frustrated with a lot of the technical stuff and of course, trying to do a lot of the stuff myself. I had no idea, though, that someday I would be teaching this to other people. At the time, I was doing it for me. I was just doing it to build my own business. And lo and behold, now it's part of my whole program, and it's a big piece of what I do. So that's a good example of, you never know how things will evolve in your business to bring those things into play. And so that's why I think we had that conversation. I said with that training, I'm sure something will come up from it.
Oh, totally. Totally.
Yeah.
There was value in it. I mean, I got tremendous value in it. So it wasn't that. It was just that when I was looking at my specific process, there wasn't anything from that yet that I
that jumped out.
The way things evolve.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to ever set up your brain in a way that you are thinking, I already know that, or this is it, because it totally just shuts down.
Yes.
It shuts you down from learning and taking in any new things.
Yeah.
So
always be seeking, always be seeking. And I think high achievers are always doing that, but not just always be seeking, also always be applying. And there is a difference. We can seek and seek and seek, and information and knowledge without application get you absolutely nowhere. I think you just did a post on that the other day or something.
I did. I did. I like that information versus like actually taking the action and the transformation that happens within people. There's a huge difference. And that was my own journey. I mean, I took on information.
Right.
I was applying it, but it was just such little bitty steps.
Yeah. You and I are the fast track for sure.
Yes. I like doing it the fast way. The slow way is like, somebody else can do that.
No, I think this is good, because I think it really is important. Number one, for people to understand that when they're in a business, number one, you should not be in your business alone. I just have to say that. You should be working with a mentor. If you need mindset, get that. If you need strategy, get that. You know, now hopefully you'll be able to see or determine what you need, and you may need both. And there is nothing wrong with that. You know, some of the high achievers often are working with multiple people. Most of the people that I work with have already been working with someone, or they are currently still working with someone. That's not uncommon. So don't limit yourself there, but also just realize, I mean, you just have so much opportunity. Just do the right things, move forward, but get what you need in your business. And I don't know, anything you want to add?
No, the whole thing, this whole interview has been so spot on.
It wasn't what we even said we were going to talk about.
No, it isn't.
I said, it's just going to be organic. We kind of had an idea in mind where it would go, but no, I think we totally derailed that idea.
Yeah.
This is good. No, it was good.
Yeah, I agree.
So Kim has done some amazing things. I think she's absolutely phenomenal at what she does. I only work with rock star clients, by the way. So, but I just want to sing her praises, because really, she truly is getting these incredible, amazing results with her clients that I have not seen people out there getting. And so I'm excited to see where she goes in her business, obviously, but hopefully you got so many takeaways from this, both mindset takeaways and even some strategic takeaways. And please reach out to Kim if you feel like you are stuck and you know it's a mindset issue. You know it's something maybe even from your past. Maybe you don't know exactly what it is, but maybe it's something that you've been struggling with for years and years and years. That is a mindset problem. That's not typically a business problem. You would already be long out of business, right? If you struggled with something for years and years. So that's something where you need someone that can get deep into your thinking and really help you make those shifts. So Kim, what else? Is there anything else you would like to share before we wrap this up? And then also, how can people get a hold of you? And we will put everything in the show notes as well, but just
of course,
give us a little bit of information here.
Sure. So they can get a hold of me if you go to my website, www.kimberlylebbing.com. And I've got a download where I actually go through my entire process. So if they're interested in knowing how I do what I do, because we do see some really amazing results with people and they get into action really quickly. So if you're looking to get into action really quickly and you've been stuck, I'm your gal. So they can go to my website, and of course I'm on social media too, Facebook, LinkedIn, all the places you can connect with me.
Yes. And please do and follow her, because she's putting out great information. She's putting out things that are changing people's lives, and they are going to help you all along your journey, your business, coaching, consulting, or professional services business in your journey. So, and they'll help your relationships. And ultimately, we want people to be happy. You want to be happy with your business. You want to be happy with your life. And that's where what both of us do can help people create that. So Kim, thanks so much for being here. This was a lot of fun. And I appreciate you so much, both as a client, also as a friend, and someone who's just doing amazing things out there in the world. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me on today. It's been a pleasure. And I would just really appreciate all that you've done for me and my business.
Thank you. Well, it's not over.
I know, right?
That's the exciting part. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Reach out to Kim if you have a need, you need that quick breakthrough. And also, if you need strategy and maybe you are stuck from a strategic approach like Kim was when she came to me, then I would love to invite you to book a call with me at acarden.com. And we can just get on a call and see if you need strategy, and if you need mindset, I'm going to send you to Kim, but go ahead and book a call with me, and we'll take a look at your business, and we'll see what is stopping you from really getting that growth that you want and desire. So have an amazing day. God bless you all. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next week.
If you've enjoyed this episode, I want to invite you to go check out a free training that I have at expertinu.us. It is a training that I have on how you can get ultra premium dream clients, scale your business, get more freedom, and really simplify your business and multiply your money. So go check that out. And again, that is expertinu.us. I want to thank you for being here with me this week. I hope you found massive value. Please always leave a comment, feedback, or a question. We check them all. And I want you to go rock your business, and make sure you join us again next week. God bless you. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.